Drilling an oil well. My audience first will be engineers. Drilling an oil well is a very expensive and complicated procedure and can take a lengthy amount of time to complete. The first thing that has to happen when drilling a well is you have to have the rights to drill on the land as the operating company. Next, you need to have the land staked out and you have to get the permits to be able to drill the well. Once this has happened, you can start to build the location or the pad for the well. What happens now is the well is spudded and the conductor hole is drilled. Then the conductor casing is run into the hole that you just drilled and then cemented into the ground. Now it is time to move in the drilling rig, which is used to drill the hole, rig it up or set it up, and after the rig is rigged up or set up, everything is ready to go on location. Then the surface hole is drilled using a drill bit. Then the surface casing is run into the hole you just drilled and then cemented into the ground. Next, the intermediate hole is drilled. Then the intermediate casing is going to be run in the hole or the intermediate hole that you just drilled and then cemented into the ground. Finally, the production hole is drilled and the production casing is run in the hole that you just drilled and cemented into the ground. The well has now been drilled and is ready to be handed over to the completion team and the production team for future production work. The production team will then use methods like artificial lift to then pull the oil out of the ground from the reservoir in the most efficient way possible. My audience now is 5th grade students. Drilling an oil well is a very complicated procedure and can take a very, very long time to finish and complete. The first thing that has to happen when drilling a well is you have to have the rights to drill on the land. Next, you need to have the land marked out where you would like to drill the well. You have to be able to get the permission to be able to drill the well on the land, because it might not be your land. It could be state land, federal land, or who knows. Once this has happened, you start to build the location using dirt and other materials for where you're going to drill the well. What happens now is you want to start to drill the well by using a drill bit. Drill the conductor hole first, and then you take conductor casing and run it in the hole that you just drilled, and then we use cement to cement the casing in the hole. Now it is time to move in the drilling rig, which is what is used to actually drill the well itself, along with a lot of other machinery. After we set up the drilling rig and everything is ready to go on location, the surface well or the surface hole will then be drilled. After the surface hole is drilled, then we run the surface casing into the surface hole that we just drilled and cement it into the ground. Next, the intermediate hole is then drilled, and we use intermediate casing to run right into the intermediate hole that we just drilled, and then we cement it into the ground. Now, finally, we drill the production hole, and then we run production casing in the production hole we just drilled, and then we cement it into the ground. The well has now been drilled and is ready to be handed over to the team that is going to use production artificial lift methods to then pull the oil from the reservoir up to the Earth's surface.